We are now into late May 2025, as the Giants currently have a 7.5 game lead on the San Diego Padres for first place in the NL West, and we are about to head into the final game of a 4-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And earlier in this series, Kolby Allard actually pitched 2 2/3 of no-hit innings against the D-backs, and then the rest of the pitching staff only allowed 1 hit the rest of the game. An impressive win, but what happened to Kolby Allard? He is on the IL with a torn groin. So Kolby Allard is going to be missing a pretty good chunk of time. He was having an incredible season through 11 starts. He had 72 1/3 innings pitched and a sub-2 at a 1.87 ERA. So Allard is now going to miss at least 60 days of action as he is on the 60-day IL. Luckily, he will be back at some point this season, and he's not going to miss the later chunk of the season, and he's not going to miss the playoffs like Jay Groom ended up doing last season with that untimely injury. At least this one happens earlier in the year where we do have enough depth to make up for it. And now we had to make some moves around with the roster since Kolby Allard is now out. So Braylon Marquez is moving from the bullpen to the rotation. He has been great in the bullpen this year, so I think he deserves a chance to actually start for us. So he is going to get that chance. And then Seth Corey has been called up from AAA Sacramento to take Marquez's spot as the lefty long man in the bullpen. I chose Corey over Willie Arroyo simply because Seth Corey is already on the 40-man roster. Might as well see what he can do, so he's now on the big league club. The Giants travel out to the land where it's absurdly hot, but they swear it's okay because it's a dry heat. Arizona, as the D-backs are going to be sending out the right-hander Heath Fillmyer, who's having a solid year for the D-backs, a sub-3 ERA, and he'll be opposed by Marco Murillo making his 12th start, having a bit of a sophomore slump, but he gets the go-ahead nonetheless. So Giants lineup 1-9, there you have it. D-backs lineup 1-9, leading off is a familiar face. So top half of the first inning, Javi Baez takes a pitch right off his thigh, and that's going to be a free base for him, so he's on first with 2 outs. Then Joey Gallo draws a 4-pitch walk, and it's first and second with 2 outs. Brings up Jock Peterson, rips a ball down the right field line past the glove of Lau at first base, and that's going to score 1 and 2 as Gallo rounds third, heads home, beats the throw. 2-0 lead for the Giants. They were not done there, though, as then Jairo Munoz is going to trade places with Jock Peterson. He scores easily, as Jairo Munoz goes into right center, makes it a 3-0 lead for the Giants to kick off this game. And then the D-backs, they tried their best to get on the board here in the bottom of the first inning. Bobby Pryor, left center field, splits the gap, ground rule double, he's in scoring position, and then Brandon Lau is going to hit one a long way to right field. This is gone. A 2-run shot, and just like that, it's only a 1-run lead for the Giants. We now move things on to the bottom of the second, where Braden Bishop lays down a bunt. Gallo would have had him dead to rights at first base, but instead Murillo cuts it off, and it's going to be an infield single for Bishop. And then a pitch gets away from Hacker, allows Bishop to move up into scoring position, so he's on second base. And then Jamani Jones rips one into left field. That's going to land in for a hit. Peterson does not have a strong enough arm to throw out the speedy Bishop, and it's a tie game at 3. Yohan Lopez came in as we move things on all the way to the top of the 8th inning, where it's still a 3-3 game, and Javi Baez going down into right field, where the infield and outfield was shifted to the left, and that's going to be an easy double for El Mago. Then with 2 outs, Joey Gallo at the plate, checks his swing. That's his second walk of the game, so first and second for the Giants. A pitch then gets away from the catcher Carson Kelly, allows the runners to move up to second and third. Then they would intentionally walk Jock Peterson. That would end Yohan Lopez's day as Ronaldo Newberry came on, who has not given up a run yet this season, and every streak must come to an end as Jairo Munoz gives a charge out to left center field. That's going to be a first row home run for Jairo Munoz. A grand slam makes it a 7-3 lead for the Giants as they bust this one wide open. Seth Corey came on with a big lead. First batter he faces strikes out the right fielder Wilson. So one down, and then Corey ran into some issues. Could not find the strike zone against Pryor. He walks. After that, it's Lau. He walks as well. So first and second with one out, and then it brings up Josh Naylor. He's going to walk two, so that's bases loaded now. And Yarlin Garcia is going to come on to relieve Seth Corey with bases loaded, one out. Braden Bishop chops one up the middle. Baez flips with the glove to second, a 6-4-3 double play, and the 7-3 lead remains. And then off Andrew Chafin in the top of the ninth, Elliot Ramos continues his tear of the 2025 campaign. A solo shot into the left field seats. That is gone. 8-3 lead for the Giants now. Domingo Acevedo came on for the bottom of the ninth, and he would close this game out as he gets Franklin Barreto to line out to right field. And that is your ball game as the San Francisco Giants win this one over their NL West foe, the Arizona Diamondbacks, by a score of 8-3. Huge day for Jairo Munoz as he had an RBI double and a grand slam. Those were his 2 hits on the day. Javi Baez also had a 2-hit day, as well as Elliot Ramos. And then Jock Peterson's only hit was a RBI double to put the Giants on the board to kick off the scoring. And then after that performance where Seth Corey could not find the strike zone, we decided to send him back down to Sacramento, and Willie Arroyo has been added to the 40-man roster, and he is now on the big league ball club in the long relief spot that Seth Corey was just in. So the 23-year-old left-handed pitcher from California is now up in the majors. The Giants travel back home to Oracle Park as they play host to the Washington Nationals, who are going to be sending out the right-handed strikeout artist in Eric Fetty for the 12th time this season. Eric Fettywop will be opposed by Braylon Marquez, making his first start of the 2025 season. He's been lights out of the bullpen, now getting a chance in the rotation. Take a look at the Giants lineup on the day 1-2-9, as well as the opposing Washington Nationals lineup. Start things off top half of the first, leading off the game as Malik Smith hits a ground ball to Jairo Munoz. You think it's an easy out, but he airmails this one into the Nationals dugout. Hey, you guys awake over there? So he's on second base now. Then it would be a walk to Keyboom. So first and second, nobody out. Juan Soto then takes a curveball that just hangs there that he could have absolutely destroyed. So one down. Then it's going to be another walk to Victor Robles. So bases juiced, one out. Brian Anderson could not pull the trigger on the backdoor cutter. 2 down now. And then Marquez would actually get out of the jam as he gets Luis Garcia to pop up into foul territory. So it's still scoreless. Move things on to the bottom of the first. Gilberto Fuentes kicking off the bottom of the inning with a shot out to right center field. That's going to get into the corner, and that's going to be an easy double for Fuentes and his fleet feet. So he's on third base with nobody out. Elliot Ramos with the dish, could not drive him in, strikes out on the slider. After that, it's Javi Baez. He goes down on a drop third strike, fire over to first for the second out, and then Joey Gallo also strikes out as Eric Fetty shows off why he has so many strikeouts on the year as he gets out of the jam as well. So bottom of the second now, Jairo Munoz fights a pitch off into right field. That's a one out hit for Munoz. He's on first, then Ordonez strikes out, and the ball gets away from the catcher, so Munoz moves up to second base. Then with Ryan Hacker at the dish, a ball gets away from the catcher again, and this is going to be Munoz on third with 2 outs, but then Hacker could not drive him in as Fetty strikes him out, and we are still scoreless. Move things on to the top of the third now as Keyboom's at the plate with 1 out. He's going to bloop one into right field. Ordonez coming on, giving it a dive, cannot squeeze the glove on it. That's going to be a double for Keyboom, so he's in scoring position. Next batter up is Juan Soto. Also bloops one. This one's in the left field, but it's going to hang up enough for Peterson to put it away for out number 2. And then Marquez would proceed to strike out Victor Robles, gets away from Hacker, but he recovers and fires over to first to complete the strikeout, still scoreless. Bottom of the fourth, Joey Gallo going against the shift. This one's down the left field line. That's going to be a double for Pico de Gallo with 1 out, so he's in scoring position. brings up Jock Peterson, who would have scored him from anywhere. This one's going to get out to left center field, and that baby is gone. A 2-run shot for young Jock, and that's going to be a 2-0 lead for the Giants now. As we move things on to the top of the 6th, Keyboom at the plate, ground ball over to second base. Munoz ranging to his left makes the play from the outfield grass for out number 1. Then Juan Soto goes down on the curveball, out number 2. And then after giving up a single to Robles, Brian Anderson goes down on the cutter. Another scoreless inning from Braylon Marquez. We move things along all the way to the top of the 9th now as Jason Tupman came on looking for the save, and he would get that as it's a ground ball up the middle. Munoz flips to second, Baez is there for the out, and it's a 2-0 win for the San Francisco Giants over the Washington Nationals, who now drop under 500 on the season. Braylon Marquez, in his first start since moving from the bullpen to the rotation because of Colby Allard's injury, gets player of the game honors, went 6 1/3 strong, only gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, no runs, and struck out 10 Washington Nationals batters in this 2-0 win. Eric Fedde also had a few strikeouts in the day for himself, but his offense just could not do anything against Braylon Marquez, hence why he was the player of the game. And now, before we actually move on to the third and final game of the episode, we do have one thing to go over, and that is the 2025 draft, where we had the 30th overall pick. And as always, let's just show off who we took. So with that 30th overall pick in the first round, we took Kerry Fodor, a 19-year-old left-handed pitcher from the state of California. In the second round, we took Philip Tao, a 20-year-old first baseman from South Korea. In the third round, we took Richie Benitez, a 19-year-old outfielder from the Dominican Republic. In the fourth round, we took Brian Park, a 21-year-old catcher from South Korea. And in the fifth round, we took Bud Lopez, a 20-year-old third baseman from the Dominican Republic. And in the sixth and final round, we took Abdul Manning, a 21-year-old right-handed pitcher from Indiana. So this third and final game of the episode is going to be against the Miami Marlins, as we are now in mid-June, June 14th to be exact, and the lead on the Padres in the division is now up to 9.5 games, while the Dodgers, as you can see, have not been a threat at all this season. They are a bad ball club. And now if we take a look at yet another update on Mr. Elliot Ramos, he is first in the National League in hits with 88 of those. He is tied for second in home runs with 21. He is tied with his teammate Javi Baez, while Rhys Hoskins of the Padres leads the National League with 23 homers. He also has the second highest OPS in the National League with a 1.064. Ian Happ is just barely above him with a 1.066, while Ramos does have the edge over Ian Happ for the WAR leader in the National League, though. It's also worth mentioning that this Marlins team has Sherwood Mooney, who leads all of the National League in stolen bases with 17. They also have a whole bunch of injuries to their roster. Their catcher, Jorge Alfaro, is out with a broken foot, although he is close to return. Melvin Adone is out with a broken hand, one of the relievers. And then Kevin McCarthy is out with a fractured forearm, and Trevor Rogers is out with a torn finger ligament. So lots of injuries to their pitching staff as well as their battery mate in Jorge Alfaro. So that's probably a big reason why they really haven't had a chance to compete this season, as they're not doing the greatest. The Giants back on the road as they're down in Florida taking on the Miami Marlins, who are going to be sending out Sixto Sanchez, one of the premier strikeout pitchers in the National League, making his 14th start. He'll be opposed by the left-hander from Barnegat, New Jersey, and Jay Groom, making his 15th start of the season with a sub-3 ERA. Take a look at the Giants lineup 1-9 on the day, as well as the opposing Miami Marlins lineup, which we will start off seeing in the bottom of the first. Sherwood Mooney chasing a high fastball for the first out of the game, and then Ronald Butler, a 3-1 count, slaps one at the left field, and Derek Kloboff making the diving catch. This man is just born to make diving plays against the Marlins. Flashback to last season, around the same time of the year, this time in right field, and he makes a diving catch to rob them of a run there. In a much bigger spot in that game, but he did make a very impressive play in this game as well. So bottom of the first ends as Maikel Franco chops one over to third base. On the bottom of the third now, it's Victor Mesa going down on a high fastball for a strikeout. And then for the second out of the game, For the second out of the inning, it would be Lowe, flying one out to deep left center field. Ramos not only making it with the bat this year, he's been exceptional in the field. And then Groom would strike out the final batter in Sixto Sanchez to end the inning. Top of the fourth, Elliot Ramos leads off with a walk, and then Javi Baez rips one into left center field that splits the gap. Ramos goes to third, Baez on second, 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out for Joey Gallo. Hits a hard hit ball over to second base, but Isan Diaz makes the diving grab, and that's going to only allow 1 run to score. And then Jairo Munoz gets robbed on a leaping grab by Sherwood Mooney, the former Giants prospect, so it's only going to be a 1-0 lead as then Gavin LaValle lines into right field for the third out. Move things on to the bottom of the 7th, where Willie Arroyo came on for the Giants, and he would start off his appearance by striking out Jorge Soler, and then he would end the inning by striking out Lowe. 2 strikeouts in the inning for the left-hander Willie Arroyo. Move things on to the top of the 8th, where the Giants are back in action at the plate. So a leadoff walk for Lorenzo Ordonez. He would then go and swipe second base as the throw down was not in time, also offline. So he's on second, then a ball gets away from the catcher, allows Ordonez to move up to third base. So runner on third, nobody out. Elliot Ramos then draws a walk himself. So it's runners on the corners, and then Ramos would try to steal second base, get 2 runners in the scoring position. Instead, he is gunned down at second. So then with runner on third and 2 outs, as Baez was not able to get on, Joey Gallo does deliver, hits one off the fence in right center, and that's going to be a RBI double. He has both RBIs on the day. Willie Arroyo stayed on for the bottom of the 8th as he started it off by striking out Victor Mesa. The catcher, Nick Ciuffo, or Cufo, wherever you say his name, strikes out for the second out of the inning, and then after that, it would be the pinch hitter Jake Bauers chop one over to first base. Fuentes Fields finds the covering of Arroyo, and then Arroyo stayed on for the 9th, looking for a rare 3-inning save, and he starts it off by striking out Sherwood Mooney, and then Butler grounds one to second base, but Munoz kicks it, and that's going to be reach on error for Butler, but then Arroyo is able to work a ground ball for Maikel Franco. That is a 3-6-1 double play to end the game as Willie Arroyo gets the 3-inning save. A 1-hitter combined between Jay Groom and Willie Arroyo in this 2-0 win for the Giants over the Miami Marlins. Like I said, Jay Groom only gave up 1 hit, 6 innings strong, struck out 8 batters on the day, and then Willie Arroyo came in and worked 3 scoreless as well for the Giants, and he picked up that 3-inning save where he struck out 5 batters. Obviously did not give up a hit, also did not walk anybody in those 3 innings. So an extremely impressive day pitching for the Giants. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the San Francisco Giants franchise. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, Minecraft rules!